Samurai Talk. Today we'll be playing catch with one of the most famous and sophisticated or audacious samurai journalists I've ever met. Bob, nice of you to come back.
Thank you for having me.
It's been 36 years.
36 years.
You remember the first time we met each other?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you looked much younger.
Well, I was 36 years younger.
36 years younger. And you had a look of dervish. Good-looking guy.
Well, I had longer hair.
Longer hair, but... you know, a few weeks ago, I got myself a tiny little black cat, kitten. And I called her Crow.
Oh, okay.
Named after Warren Cromartie.
Oh.
Motivated by your book.
Well, I'm sure that Cromartie would be honored by that there's a cat
I hope
named
so.
after
I
him.
hope so.
It was actually a horse named after him.
But I'm under the impression that your book says Cromartie deserved better.
Well, I mean, he had his difficulties, but in the end, he got a $3 million contract, and he was quite popular in Japan. He played for 7 years, and he played until he started to lose his ability. But he had a very difficult time adjusting in the beginning. He came, you know, most Americans come here, they all have these really big swings, and because it's a game based on the home run. And there's a lot of fastball pitching, but in Japan, of course, there's more, you know, breaking ball, henkakyu type pitching. So it was difficult for him to adjust. And he said that what really helped, he had a bad beginning. The first 2 or 3 months were really bad, but then he said that Sadaharu Oh took him aside and taught him 2 things that made him a successful hitter in Japan. He said the first one, he said, when you're swinging, your elbow is going up like that. So he said, when you stand at the bat, I want you to put a book under your arm and hold it like that. And then he says, pretend that the bat is an umbrella. And you hold the bat like an umbrella, and then you swing.
Was under the influence of Oh.
That was O's teaching, O's advice.
So,
and he started doing that, he started hitting, and he became a big star. So he was able to make the adjustment. A lot of Americans who come to Japan can't make the adjustment. It's like a lot of individuals, non-baseball players who come here, and they, instead of adapting to the culture, they try to fight the culture.
Fight the culture. But to the end, according to your book, you were beginning to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was trying to grow into the Japanese method of a war-oriented culture, right?
Yes. Well, there was a problem I did an interview with him in 1986, and he said that at the end of the season, and he said he thought the people in the front office, the Japanese executives in the front office were discriminatory. He said they were racist.
Racist.
And he said he could see this because whenever Nagashima came to the ballpark, the former manager, people would bow and scrape, and they'd be extremely humble and polite. But whenever O was the manager of the team, but he said they would kind of treat him with less respect.
Yeah.
O would say to the general manager, "Can I talk to you?" And the general manager said, "Oh, leave me alone. You know, I'm not busy right now."
Even though O felt a little bit isolated
well, because
himself.
Cromartie said that he and O became friends because O is, in his opinion, a gaijin too, because O was half Chinese.
Probably said they were in the same boat or
right,
something.
and he was not a citizen of Japan. He had an alien registration card. Just
you call it just a racism of a sort?
That's the term that Cromartie used. Actually, racism is probably not an accurate word.
But you didn't discuss that because you're detached from that.
Well, I discussed it in this interview, and then the interview came out in the magazine, and I was banned from the Tokyo Giants Stadium for 2 years.
Oh, then you came back.
Well,
after
they sent
2
me a
years.
letter, and they said, and the Tokyo Dome opened up, and they said, "You're welcome to come back now." So I went to the Tokyo Dome.
Because the Yomiuri Giants said, "Oh, it's enough, it's enough."
There was
That you lost the job.
The Yomiuri Giants Koho, right?
Koho.
I didn't. I mean, I really didn't care. It didn't
Since
make
then,
any
that you
difference
went
to me.
dark.
Well, no, I had other.
But you
other
wrote a
work
book
to do.
about the underworld. You know,
Yes.
everyone says, "What's gotten into Bob
Well,
away
listen,
from baseball?"
because I'd written too many books about baseball, and I wanted to change. I had an agent in New York, and my agent said, "You've done baseball to death.
Yeah.
You've done too much. Stop it. Pick another subject."
Not because that you're disillusioned in
No,
baseball.
I was just tired of it.
Tired
I was
of
tired
it.
of writing. I keep
So you
writing
need
the
to
same thing, and
Switch out,
that's
chill
right.
out.
You know, I mean, after a while, Sean Connery got tired of playing James Bond. So, all right.
ちょっとなかなか聞き取りにくいかもしれませんけど、シェーン・コノリーがね、ジェームズ・ボンドもう疲れたと同じように、俺も読売から白い目を向けられて、ちょうどやめようかなと。それでアンダーワールドという本を書いて、野球から離れて一体どうしたのかと言われたことがあったけれども、彼自身はね、クロマーチを書いた時って本当に、思い入れがあって、たまたま監督が長嶋とどちらかというと長嶋の方が人気があったんですよね。で王の日はやっぱり外人だというレイシズムもあったかもしれませんが、その中でお互いによく似た同じ穴の無人だなという感じでもって気持ちが通ってきたという感じだから、王のやり方でポケットに入れてこういうね格好までして、それをやって彼はだんだんこの日本の文化に根付いてきたという感じかな。He got to the point where he thought, well, I might go right back into the major league. He quit. Do you think he could have made it?
He was old. That's all. He was 37 years
37.
old, and his batting average started to drop, and he
Dropped
wasn't.
to
He was
hitting
he,
390. Well, then now
one
down
year,
to
and then he went down to about 250, 260. And so they were paying him a lot of money, $1.5 million a year. So that was, a lot of money to pay for a 250 hitter. And so he had one bad year, and so they went back. They didn't give him a new contract, which was understandable. I mean, that's just. And he went back he played in America for Kansas City for 1 year, but he was just a bench warmer. He was a reserve player.
But you think it's pathetic to see him, the old soldiers, fading out?
Well, that happens to every player, The
Well,
player
no, I disagree. Ichiro got into slump. The other team members are trying to shore up the morale, so to speak. He got right back, and he cried with emotion because he didn't do it on his own. Doesn't that kind of emotional story?
I don't believe that story.
Come on,
I
shoot.
don't believe that. I think that's BS.
I wouldn't call it BS.
All right, Ichiro is hitting 118 this year.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Really?
Yes. There comes a point where all the emotion in the world can't make you. You get older, your reflexes go, your hand-eye coordination deteriorates. So, and they're just. It's time to go. And Cromartie was 37, 38, 39 years old. That's the time when, players, even Pete Rose, Hank Aaron, they reached 40, they couldn't, they lost their ability.
Or this is it, they thought they might retire. The right moment of retirement, the art of leaving.
Right. Well, Pete Rose became the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. He was a playing manager. He should have retired as a player, but since he was the manager, he put himself in the lineup, but he wasn't very good.
One question offhand, Bob. Does a good player make a good coach, good manager?
Usually superstar players who are great stars usually don't become good managers.
Can you give me an example? Who didn't make it? Nagashima, Nomura Kantoku, manager Nomura. Performed poorly to the end of his life. But he performed well as a manager.
Well, Nagashima wasn't a very good manager. Because
so what's debatable?
Well, there's plenty of evidence to suggest that he wasn't. But, the great players don't have patience with young, struggling players. Because when the Stars were players, it was easy for them. It was easy for O. It was easy for Nagashima to hit because they had natural ability. And there are some players who don't have that great natural ability, and they have to struggle. And you need a certain kind of manager who can bring out the best, who knows how to use you. And usually the Stars, you know, Hirooka was a good example. The Cebu Lions manager, Hirooka Tatsuro.
Yeah, Hirooka.
And with Lotte, he was very good as a manager. He wasn't a star player, but he was very analytical, and he knew how to raise young players.
Can you hazard your guess, Bob, as to what might happen to Nomura Kantoku, Hara, for example? He declined to serve as a manager for the Olympics.
Right.
He declined.
Right.
He went back. Why did he decline? And who knows, Matsui Hideki might come back. I have a feeling that he might make it. I don't know. You're within your right to disagree with me. Matsui might be it.
Olympic manager?
Olympic manager.
Well, maybe. Matsui Hideki really likes living in New York, and he likes being with the Yankees. He was offered the job of manager by Watanabe, and he turned it down. He said no. In fact, you know, this National Heroes Award that he received, that was a kind of strategy on the part of Watanabe with Prime Minister Abe to get him back with the Giants. In fact, when they offered him that award, he turned it down.
Yeah, you're talking about politics behind the scenes.
Yes.
The talk can be done in the locker room. But sometimes it doesn't work because the day of the Yomiuri Giants are gone. Hanshin is coming back strong. Tigers.
Well, for the time being.
You think the Giants will come back? Well, okay, let's agree to disagree.
Organization, but I don't think Matsui likes New York. He wants to stay with the Yankees, and I'd be very surprised if he came back with.
このね、今ちょっと話も早くなりましたけど、オリンピックの監督で原監督がですね、俺やらないってこう言って話題になった昨日の新聞大きく出てましたけど、ひょっとしたら松井あたり行くには意外と人気あるんですよね。ちょっと手を崩してしまったらもうダメになってしまうと、野球の人生で人をだいぶダメにしてることがあるんですよね。しかし彼は松井だとやるかもしれないって、やっぱりニューヨークは好きだからって。そういうことでね、今度はどんどん野球が人を殺すか殺さないか、こういうことは来週話をしてみたいと思いますね。Michihiro Matsumoto, Knowledge Channel, Tokyo, Japan, with Mr. Robert Whiting. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you.